Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa Harris. I'm a vocalist, a music educator, vocal coach, career coach, all of the above. Just coming on here with some good tips and tricks for all my fellow singers and performers out there. Today we're going to be talking about networking. That might be something that is dreaded for some, and that might be something that other people look forward to. Me personally, I've grown to love networking over time, but today I want to talk about some really important things about networking as a performer. As you go throughout your career and you meet new people, it's really important to make connections. It's about who you know, as we've all heard before, but it really goes deeper than that. And there's so much more to networking than just knowing people. And that's what I kind of wanted to talk about in this video. I'm going to call them the 10 commandments of networking for performers. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you like this video. Go ahead and subscribe right now because I post all kinds of great resources for singers and I don't want you to miss any of it. Let's just jump right in. So there used to be a time where I hated the idea of networking, like deliberately networking, going out of your way to go meet business contacts. And the reason why this is because I felt like it was a little bit contrived. I felt like it was forced. I felt like it made me inauthentic. It made me feel like I was being fake or my approach to people was not genuine, because I never liked the idea that someone is trying to fake a friendship with you to be an opportunist or get further in their career. That's kind of like a weird, it's like an icky feeling, right? Because I'm naturally a social person, so I naturally make friends wherever I go. Even those business and career contacts that I've made over time, a lot of those interactions have happened naturally, and okay, I met someone that could help me through this and that because they were my friend, and it just naturally sort of unraveled that way. I used to kind of cringe at the idea because I thought it would make me look opportunistic, like in a bad way. But as I got deeper in my career and a little bit more advanced in my career, I started realizing like the idea of networking, it just became so much less scary. It became a lot less intimidating, especially when you think of just the nature of the work that we do. There's this juxtaposition between like being friendly with people, and there's that fine line of like professionalism and friendliness, and you're kind of always riding that line. And so I decided to kind of use that to my advantage. I stopped looking at blurring those lines as a bad thing. Knowing people or having made a connection with them is such a good resource. It's such a good opportunity. Like there's so many people that I've worked with that have reached out to me because they knew that I was connected with something in some way, and I'm always willing to help, and vice versa. There's been so many people that I've even just been acquaintances with that have been open and upfront and just been really willing to help me or give me just any insight or resources that they have. That in itself is considered networking. It doesn't have to be this scary thing. The root of that probably is just because on the one hand, like I said, it can be intimidating thinking like, okay, I have to approach this person and they know that I might have some other intention or something like that. And I think also because it's a very competitive industry, it's very cutthroat. So a lot of times people want to be secretive about the information that they have. They don't want to share it. Luckily, I think that the lines are blurred a little bit these days in a way that makes it not so uncomfortable to approach people about potential opportunities or approach people that you think could help you with potential opportunities. And social media is now a huge element of professional networking, and it's a really effective tool in the performance community because we are able to showcase who we are, showcase our talent. It's kind of like our virtual business card, our digital business card, our digital resume that is at the fingertips of anyone who wants to know a little bit more about you, more about the work that you do. All they have to do is go on your social media and they can not only see everything that you're proud of, you put your best work forward, but it's also a way to see who you're connected with, who you're friends with, who you might know, that they might know. And it's just such an effective tool. But aside from social media, there's plenty of places that networking takes place. Networking can take place anywhere, and it doesn't have to be a forced thing. It doesn't have to be an uncomfortable thing. It's something that can happen in your everyday life just by being open and talking to people. But what I really want to get into in this video is how to network for success, how to come off as natural when you're doing so, and how to continue expanding your network so that you continue to grow your performance career. Let's talk about the 10 commandments of networking. Number 1, keep your social medias current, stay active on there. I cannot stress this enough. This is really important. I know it's hard. I know it's kind of tedious and it might be difficult for some people to keep your social media updated, to make sure you're posting on Instagram, to make sure you have a website, you have material out there in the world for anyone to see at any given time. This is really important because, as I said before, your social medias these days, that is really your digital business card. That's the way that people know who you are, who you're connected with, what you do, and they're able to just access it kind of at the drop of a hat. It's really amazing. It's really convenient. So use that to your advantage. If your name comes up in some circles, or if someone has an opportunity that they think you might be good for, and they hear someone, oh, well, I'm looking for a singer, or I'm looking for someone to do XYZ job. Oh, I know someone. They know your name. All they have to do is go on your social media and everything is there. It's put out for you. It's such a game changer to be able to see someone. Like, we know a picture is worth 1,000 words. And nowadays these videos, like having video of yourself, like it's a priceless tool. So number 1, definitely make sure your social media stay updated. Make sure that they stay representative of you and everything that you do, who you are, or what you want to present of who you are professionally on social media. If this is your career, if performance is your career, then you should be using social media to help you towards those goals as well. Now, that's not to say you need to be posting every single day, but it's just to stay current, to stay relevant, to make sure that if someone is looking for you, if there's an opportunity, you are ready. They can really get a good idea of who you are as an artist. Number 2, the second commandment, I'm going to say, thou shalt not be shy. Do not be shy. When it comes to networking, there is nothing worse than trying to be to yourself, trying to stay inside your shell. You got to get out of your shell. You cannot be shy. You can't be afraid to approach people. You can't be afraid to put yourself out there. You do have to be outgoing. That's a huge part of advocating for yourself, marketing yourself, networking with people, is not to be afraid of interactions. I know it can be hard. We're all like socially awkward. We all don't get enough social interaction during the day, but it's really important that if you are in an environment or you're around people that could potentially help you in your career, being shy is not going to help you. Being bold, my mom has always said that. She's like, you got to be bold. You got to be fearless, Being fearless has gotten me so far in life. Just not being afraid to come out of my shell and be seen and have people see me, know who I am, and acknowledge me. So thou shalt not be shy. That's number 2. Number 3 kind of goes on the other hand of number 2, which is to be approachable. So if it's not an instance where you're going out of your way to approach someone, like you're not being shy, you're going out and you're like initiating a connection with someone. On the other hand, if you're somewhere and you are not approachable, it's going to make it a lot harder for people to want to approach you, right? So being approachable means smiling, having good body language, being involved. If you're at an event, not standing on the wall, sitting at the bar and, being on your phone or looking around, being uncomfortable, just being relaxed, being approachable, looking like someone who not only someone wants to come up to and talk to, but someone who looks like they would be a pleasure to work with as well. Because the chances are, if someone is comfortable coming up to you to approach you, maybe they like your look, maybe you performed and they want to come up to you and talk to you about more. Like, let's say you're at an open mic event or something and you're performing and you do a great job. Now you're sitting at the bar, but if you're closed off, no one's going to want to come up to you and speak to you about that performance, and they're less likely to want to work with you. So it's not just about being approachable in the moment. It's like, well, this person looks like maybe they might not be fun to work with in a potential job situation. So keep all of that in mind and always be approachable. All right, let's keep it going with commandment number 4, which is thou shalt be willing to be a resource. What do I mean by a resource? Just in the same way that you think someone that you know or someone that you know of, an acquaintance, may be able to help you. Also see yourself as someone that could be able to help someone else. It's not always about the opportunities that we can get for ourselves. It's about the opportunities that we can help others get as well. I'm a firm believer in this. Just as much as we hope that other people might want to help us, we should definitely be open to helping others. So being a resource, doing your best to kind of keep your ear out for things. If you hear of something that, oh, this person is looking for a singer or looking for an artist for XYZ project, and maybe you're not a good fit for it, but you know someone who might be a resource. Or if someone reaches out and they have a question about something that you do or that you've done, be open to sharing information. And that's not to say, oh, you need to tell everybody everything and all your business. Not that. But again, if something is for you, if an opportunity is for you, then it's for you. There's nothing wrong with sharing ideas, sharing opportunities, sharing resources with others. I believe that always kind of turns around on us, right? Is when we're open to helping others, people are open to helping us. So always make sure that you are being a resource to others. And that's a huge part of successful and effective networking. The fifth commandment of networking is be confident, okay? Thou shalt be confident and thou shalt not be afraid to brag. There's a little bit of an element of being an artist and a performer that is a little bit like self-congratulating a little bit, and you have to kind of persuade people. Like, if you're not confident, then who's gonna want to like listen to your music, right? Like, you kind of have, think about rappers and think about like certain artists. Like, that's kind of their whole shtick. Like, that's their whole thing is, I've got money, I look good, I am confident. This is not to say you need to be arrogant or anything like that, but as an artist, like, be ultra confident. Do not be afraid to brag about yourself when it comes to just how you present yourself, how you speak to people. I say brag, but I don't mean necessarily brag in an obnoxious way. I just mean don't hold back when it comes to speaking about your accomplishments or speaking about the things that you've done, the things that you're proud of, because that is huge. If you don't advocate for yourself and if you don't push like what a great thing you have or what a great product that you bring, product being yourself, then who's going to do that, right? And so a huge part of networking, whether it's on social media, whether it's when you meet someone in person, you got to be really confident. You don't want to come off as like begging or desperate or anything like that. You're coming off as like, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. These are my great qualities as an artist, as a performer, as a professional. And this is how that's kind of what I want to communicate with the person that I'm making that connection with. I want them to see me as very confident. I want them to see me that I see myself as capable, as above average, that I can, really show up to whatever it is that I do and really rise to the occasion. Don't self-deprecate or don't downplay yourself when it is an opportunity to network with someone. Really just lead with who you are in a confident way. Not cocky, but always in a confident way. All right, so the sixth commandment of networking, this is another really important one. It's to put yourself in new environments and go to unconventional places, do unconventional things that maybe you wouldn't normally do. And that's a great way to tap new markets, tap new audiences, going to different events. Maybe they're a networking event that is not in the same field as you. Like, I remember one year I went to South by Southwest here in Austin, and I went to a whole day of seminars, and it was talking about tech and small businesses and new inventions. It wasn't even necessarily about music, but there were so many, I learned so much. I met so many people, and I made a connection with this tech company in Canada that actually has an area of their business that they focus on music. And it was such a cool and illuminating experience, learning about other sides and other facets in different industries. And if I'd seen that event and gone, oh, well, that's not really my scene, or that's not really for me, if I hadn't have been open to that, then I probably wouldn't have met those people. I feel like networking isn't even necessarily oh, you have to get something tangible out of it. You don't even necessarily need to leave there with some job prospect. It could just be gaining a new perspective. It could be meeting a new person. It could be hearing an idea that makes you think in a different way. Going to different events, it kind of changes, it teaches you to become like a multifaceted person, and it just shows you how to get out of your comfort zone, really. So put yourself in new environments, because you never know who you're going to meet, what you're going to learn, like what activities you're going to do, or what skills you might pick up in an environment that you don't necessarily hang around in, and you can see how that will be so beneficial to your career. So the seventh commandment, I think, kind of goes hand in hand with the sixth commandment a little bit, piggybacking off the idea of putting yourself in a new environment and, getting around new things to get yourself out of the box and out of the comfort zone. But I'm going to take it a little bit further and say, thou shalt switch it up, whether that means moving to a new city, getting a new job, working with new people, getting new friends. Not to replace your old friends, but getting new friends. Those are all going to be gems in the process of networking for you. And let me explain. So for example, I've lived in 4 or 5 major entertainment cities in my life and throughout my singing career. And I actually have a video about that. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you check that video out. But I think that living in a different city, it has completely opened up my world as far as network, career opportunities, the span of opportunities that I've had throughout my career just based on knowing people from different places. For example, I had a friend who moved to New York as well, but she was from Vegas, and I knew her in Vegas. And once we were in New York, she actually hit me up and was like, hey, I have this gig, can you do it? And what I love so much about that is that, yeah, we both live in New York now, but we met in another city. If we had not had that connection or that thing before, knowing what each other does in the entertainment world, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So I've loved to see how many opportunities have unfolded for me just by working in different companies and living in different cities. Another example of this is the fact that I've worked in multiple different cruise lines. And so that's been such a great way, because in my experience, I've popped around, and certain companies have different perks or different experiences. And now every time I go on a ship, I'm like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I've been there. I love being able to have a full wide range of experiences and knowledge and just a lot of life, one-on-one life trial and error, just by having put myself in new environments in a big way, such as moving cities or working for a new company. So the eighth commandment I want to talk about for networking is thou shalt let go of expectations. Now, when I was talking about in the beginning of this video about how sometimes people think that networking is cringe, or it feels forced, or it feels kind of uncomfortable. And I think that's because there's that vibe or that aura of expectation. I'm going to talk to this person and they're going to potentially help me advance in my career. If you approach every networking situation with that mindset, you're going to be disappointed because, again, you got to kind of look at it from a zoomed out perspective and go this is my life, this is who I am, and I'm going to interact with different people, scenarios, situations, and settings throughout my day, throughout my life. Some of them might be a life-changing connection, some of them might not, right? And you got to be okay with that. So don't have these high, huge expectations, even if you are reaching out, or maybe you have connected with someone that could help you or could be this great, amazing resource for you. I don't want you to get hung up on certain potential connections or certain networking opportunities, oh, I got invited to this event, but if I can't go, or if I don't meet that particular person at this event, then all is lost and I'm not going to be able to advance to the next step in my career. I mean, of course, it's always great to have a plan. It's always great to know what you want. It's always great to, research the people that might be at the event that you're there, and kind of do your homework, do your due diligence for stuff like that. But nothing's ever promised and nothing's guaranteed. One of the magical things that happens in the world of networking is sometimes things just kind of happen and they just connect and you don't have to do anything, and that's amazing. But other times, you have interactions and nothing comes of it. So I don't want you to get disappointed. So let go of any expectations that you might have that come along with networking. Okay, number 9, the 9th commandment is thou shalt be professional. Don't gossip, okay? Our reputation is everything. So no matter what, you always want to make sure that you are keeping your integrity as a person, just as a person, not just as an artist or as a professional, but as a person. It's just not really it's not a good look to be gossiping about people or to have negative things to say when you're talking to people, because it's a small world, right? It's a very small circle that we work in, and you never know who knows who. And you may lose out on opportunities if someone has the wrong idea about you, whether it's true or not. That can really affect your potential to have certain opportunities. So try your best to keep your reputation as clean as possible, and don't gossip. Don't get into messy situations. Obviously, I say that with a disclaimer because there's always going to be some situation where things get misconstrued or there's something misunderstood about who you are or your character. I mean, we're all the villain in someone's story, right? But try to minimize those interactions where being professional across the board can really just take you so far, because there's nothing worse than you are an amazing performer, you have this great work ethic, and people can tell that you're talented, but no one wants to work with you because you have a bad attitude or they've heard that you had a bad attitude, right? Just making sure that you're not perpetuating any negativity or any gossip, and that nobody's perpetuating any gossip about you. And that is a huge one. Just keep it professional. Don't be messy. Keep everything as professional as you possibly can, and that will definitely take you far. Okay, so my last commandment for networking, number 10, is to keep in touch with people and to nourish relationships. So whether those are past relationships that you've had, throughout the years, like maybe you worked with someone 10 years ago, it's always great to keep a connection with people. Again, not that you have to call them every single day, but it's great to keep in touch with people. Don't shut down certain connections just because maybe they're not relevant in the moment. Keep in touch with people, whether that's on social media, whether that's reaching out to people, whether that's, hey, you have an event, you have a show, make sure you're inviting people to your shows, make sure you're keeping people in the loop, because people want to know, especially if they've had a good interaction with you initially at first, they want to keep having those good reactions. Like, we like you, we want to be your friend, we want to stay in your circle. And as to the points that I made earlier in this video, is that most people want to help you and you want to help others. So what better way to do that than to keep in touch, stay on people's radar, and be kind of in their circle. I mean, maybe not their inner circle, but you'll be in their professional network at best, and their outer circle at worst. It's really a benefit, not just because it's great to keep in touch with people anyway. It's great to see what your friends and what your acquaintances and your business, colleagues are doing. They can keep in touch with you. And when you do, like, let's say you want to reach out to them about, like, let's say you have an idea for something, or if they have an opportunity for you, you have an opportunity for them. It's less awkward. It's more genuine because you guys are actually friends, or you've been nourishing those connections over the years. And so that's just like, it's a no-brainer. It's like a seamless transition from being friends to being like work colleagues. So keeping in touch with people is huge. I have friends from 15 years ago that I've worked with that have performed with me or worked with me in one capacity or the other. And now, we keep in touch, and hey, maybe nothing professional ever comes of it, but it's just always good to keep those connections. I really advocate for people to nourish their friendships and keep those contacts alive. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Let me know if I missed anything or if I left anything out. What is your opinion about networking as a performer? Do you like it? Is it cringe? Is it uncomfortable? Did any of the things in the 10 commandments make you think about networking in a different way? I want to know your thoughts, so make sure you leave them down in the comments below. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am a vocalist and a vocal coach, so I am a resource to all my singer friends out there. If you have more questions about career coaching, about vocal coaching, or just anything, make sure that you keep in touch with me. All my contact info is in the description description box and reach out. Follow me on all the social medias. And as I said, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.